Let's be honest, grappling is one of the most fun parts of Strand, and with this build, you're going to be able to have unlimited grappling hooks. Now, not only unlimited grappling hooks, but also unlimited supers. The Hunter takes the grappling ability to the next level and can honestly become one of the best subclasses in the entire game. This build's extremely fun. You're going to be able to grapple pretty much at any time you want to, and also being able to dish out a lot of damage. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing. We're on the road to 35,000 subs, and all the support from you all is greatly appreciated. All right, jump right into it. Let's take a look at our Strand subclass, and we're going to go over our aspects Widow Silk and Ensnaring Slam. Widow Silk says you have an additional grenade charge and your grapple creates a grapple tingle at the grapple point. So obviously this wants you to play into your grapple, since you will get additional grenade charge, which means you will have 2 grapples instead of 1 like every other class. On top of that, your grapples will make grapple tingles, which means you can actually grapple to those tingles and you will be refining your grapple energy. So if you play around that, you can actually have a good amount of grapples on its own without the rest of the build, but obviously we're going to have other stuff in the build to get our grenade energy back if you can't really play around that. Now, our other aspect is Ensnaring Slam. This is activate your air move to consume your class ability energy and dive to the ground, suspending all nearby targets on impact. Using this ability extends class ability cooldown time. Now, if I'm being honest, this aspect doesn't play a lot into this build. It is nice just to be able to suspend targets when you need to, and once more aspects get released later down the line with each season, there may be another aspect that replaces this, but for now it is a nice little touch if you need to use your class ability to stun a champion or to just make any tougher group of enemies just not be able to do anything. You do have this in your back pocket. Now, for abilities, we're obviously going to be taking the grapple. That's pretty much a no-brainer. It's the whole point of this build. And now for your melee, you can't swap this out, but I do want to note that this melee will actually sever enemies, and if you don't know what sever does, this will actually reduce the damage of whatever enemy it is hit by. So if you do this on a boss before you do damage, they will just do reduced damage to you, which pairs extremely nice with the super Silk Strike. Silk Strike is a very good super for doing ad clear and single target damage. So basically what you could do is throw your threaded spike on a boss, then pop Silk Strike, and then you can go in and start damaging them. Now for fragments, the first one I'm going to be running is Thread of Mind. This is defeating suspended targets grants class ability energy. Obviously this is going to pair extremely well with Ensnaring Slam, because if I suspend enemies with Ensnaring Slam, this just means when I kill them, I will get some of that class ability energy back, which means I can always spam Ensnaring Slam. If you don't want to take this and run something else, you can 100% do that. And the thing I want to note is that in next season 1, we will have another aspect like I've already said, but we're also going to have a brand new artifact, so we're going to not have allied unraveling, so our strand weapons can make unraveling rounds. So this could be good if you want to take something like Threat of Propagation, so when you get powered melee final blows, your strand weapons will grant unraveling rounds. This does work with the grapple melee, which is the main focus of the build. Grapple, get your melee, then you can have unraveling rounds. So you can definitely swap this out, and I definitely would keep that in mind for next season. But for now, this is just what I'm running because this is all we currently have. Now my next fragment is Threat of Warding. So picking up an orb of power grants Woven Mail. Now this is going to be really strong because we're going to be making orbs everywhere. Woven Mail is going to give you a 60% damage reduction, and since we're trying to go in all the time with the grapple, this just means we can always have this damage reduction up all the time. I know the Hunter does have their new exotic helmet that will grant Woven Mail on grapple, but honestly in my opinion it's better to just take this fragment and run a different exotic. Now for my next fragment is Threat of Generation. So dealing damage grants grenade energy. This is pretty self-explanatory. When you're dealing damage with literally anything in your kit, you'll be granted grenade energy, which obviously will get your grapple back a lot faster. And overall, this is probably the most integral part of the build because of just how strong this fragment is. And we're also running Threat of Continuity. So suspend, unravel, and sever effects applied to targets have increased duration. So literally all these will actually take effect. We'll have unraveling rounds. We can suspend enemies with our Ensnaring Slam and sever enemies with our melee. So this is going to be really good just to increase the benefits of all of that on your kit. Now really quick, I do want to mention the rest of the artifact mods that will play into this, and that is things like Untangler. So when you destroy a tangle with a strand weapon, it will cause targets to suspend. Allied Unraveling, we've kind of already went over. When you get rapid weapon follows a strand, you'll grant unraveling rounds. Even things like Counterweave is also really good. So when you or a teammate stuns a champion, you will actually get some strain ability energy for your least charge ability. And then also Threaded Blast, when you destroy a tangle, it will have a bigger explosion that does a lot more damage. If you want to run something like prismatic transfer, that's also not bad to buff your teammates in a team activity. So when you pop your super, you're doing a lot of damage, but you're also giving your teammates a pretty nice damage buff as well. And since you're gonna have a lot of supers, this is a pretty nice one to play into. I would also highly recommend running authorized mods strain and authorized mods grenades, because this will just reduce the cost of some mods that we're going to be taking. And then running something like an overload auto SMG is going to be really good for the exact weapon we're going to be running, but obviously you can swap these out for whatever weapons you're running. Now, talking about supers, let's go over our exotic starter skills. I'm not exactly sure what the cape was trying to do right there, but this has the exotic perk Feast of Light. You gain additional super energy from orbs of power you pick up while your super is full. Picking up an orb of power overcharges your super, causing it to gain a burst of healing when cast and a bonus to your super damage. At maximum overcharge, you also gain an overshield. So the way its exotic works is when you pick up orbs, you're going to get these stacks that stack up to 4 times. When you cast your super, like it said, you will get healed, and if you're at 4 stacks, you will get an overshield. But on top of all that, the main thing is you're going to be getting increased damage. Like I said earlier, the Silk Strike super is already really good at doing a lot of damage. Pairing it with starter skills, this thing can just melt pretty much anything in the game. And a nice little added benefit is that you will get additional super energy from picking orbs up, and since we're making orbs everywhere, you're going to be taking advantage of this a lot. And remember, picking up those orbs will also grant you woven mail, so it's very beneficial you do seek those orbs out, because it is what makes this build very, very good. Now for stat distribution for this build, definitely go with 100 resilience pretty much all the time on any build, and 100 discipline, so you can get your grapple up as much as possible. If you have any other stats, you can kind of go with whatever you want to. If you want to go in the intellect route, since we're kind of playing into our super, you could, but you don't really need to do this since you're already going to get it really fast anyway. Recovery is always good just to get your health back, and you don't really need mobility either if you are going to be playing into Ensnaring Slam with the fragment threat in mind, because you already get it back super fast anyway. So the stats are just kind of up to you. Just make sure you do at least have 100 resilience and 100 discipline with the build. Now, weapons for this build, you can kind of run whatever you want to that's currently in the meta. The main thing is you do need a strain weapon if you are specifically trying to play it the way I am. I am running an Immortal SMG, and the main reason I'm running this is not only because it's strand and it's an SMG, which is, you know, the best primary PV weapons in the game, but is the fact that it does have Demolitionist on it. If you didn't have a chance to get the Immortal, I know the raid auto rifle can get Demolitionist on it, and I'm pretty sure the seasonal auto rifle can also get Demo on it, and that is strand, so that's probably going to be your next best options. But if you don't know what Demolitionist does, it says kills with this weapon generate grenade energy. Activating your grenade ability reloads this weapons from reserves. So obviously this is going to be really good because you can get kills with the gun, you'll get grenade energy back, and then pairing that with the fragment threat of generation. So this just means dealing damage with the gun's going to grant you grenade energy, alongside when you get the kill, you're going to be granted grenade energy. Then obviously you want to be playing into strand with your artifact mod, so you can get those unraveling rounds. And overall, like I said, any strand weapon will work. I think this is just one of the best for this build. And as you see from other weapons, I do just have a Royal Executioner and a Leviathan's Breath. Again, you can run whatever your team needs if in any situation, whatever's currently in the meta. Leviathan's Breath is an extremely fun option, and I would definitely recommend you all give it a try. And these are the mods I'm going to be running for this build if you all like to copy them down and try to figure out how everything works for yourself. But jump right into it. Let's start off with our helmet. We're going to be running double Ashes to Assets and Hands On. If you don't know what these do, Ashes to Assets means you're going to get bonus super energy when you get grenade kills, and Hands On means you get bonus super energy when you get melee kills. What's really cool about this is the fact that your grapple will actually count for both of these. Since your grapple is technically a grenade, you will get the bonus super energy from Ashes to Assets, and then your grapple melee is a melee, so you're going to get the bonus from Hands On. So basically with one grapple melee kill, you're going to be getting an absurd amount of super energy, which is going to be really, really good, obviously, for getting that super back as much as possible. This is how it currently works right now in the game. In the future, this could potentially be changed, but definitely take advantage of this while it currently works like this, because it is honestly just ridiculous the amount of super energy that you can get back just from one grapple melee kill. Now, to help play into that, I'm also going to be running a firepower and a heavy-handed. Just like Ashes to Assets and Hands On, they will both make orbs of power. So if you don't know, firepower, when you get a grenade kill, you make an orb, and then heavy-handed, when you get a melee kill, you make an orb. So again, one grapple melee is actually going to be making 2 orbs of power for you, alongside giving you all that super energy. And then obviously your exotic pair of boots is going to give you more super energy when you pick up orbs of power, and that's kind of the whole point of the exotic, is to play into orbs. This just means now on 2 grapple melee kills, you have max stacks of Feast of Light, and you're also still getting that extreme amount of super energy on your mods from your helmet. So all around this, you're getting a bunch of super energy, and you're getting your Feast of and you're getting your Feast of Light stacks proc extremely fast. They're also going to play into some more mods later down in the build, but first we need to also go over Strand Loader, so this will increase my reload speed of all my strand weapons. Since I'm mainly running a strand weapon, obviously for unraveling rounds, I want to be able to reload that as fast as possible. My strand weapon also has the ability to proc demo, which just means more grenades, which plays more heavily into this build. Now for your chest piece, always remember to just run whatever resistant mods you need for whatever activity you're going into. Swap these out literally all the time, just if you need more survivability, and these are pretty much just always what you should always run in your builds. Now for my leg armor, I'm going to be running a recuperation alongside double innervation. Recuperation means when I pick up an orb, I will get some health, and then innervation means when I pick up an orb, I'll be granted some grenade energy. So once again, going back to make as many orbs as possible with our firepower and our heavy-handed. This just means now we're going to get a bunch of grenade energy back to once again do another grapple melee, but also get some health back. So now when we pick up these orbs, we're getting 60% damage reduction from woven metal and also replenishing some of our health. So we can get in there, get a grapple melee, come out with pretty much full health and a lot of damage reduction. It is very, very strong, and it plays into this build so well. And now finally for my class item, I'm going to be running double utility kickstart, because if I'm playing into ensnaring slam, this will actually give me some more class ability energy back, which just means I can use ensnaring slam a lot more often. But this will also let us play into our armor charge, so if I do have armor charge stacked, since we're picking up so many orbs anyway, I can get even more super energy. Now if you don't need to use it for that, I also just do have a special finisher equipped, since you're pretty much going to have max armor charges all the time anyway, since you're always making double on one grapple melee kill. This just means you ever need special, you can just finish enemy. This doesn't really matter as much, and the reason I'm not taking something like bomber or outreach is because the snare slam right now doesn't actually work with these. But if it ever does change, I probably will just change this to something like a bomber, so I could just get more grenade energy, which just means more grapples. That is pretty much the build. Literally all you're doing is grappling to get your grapple melee off, alongside making a bunch of orbs, getting a bunch of super energy, which is going to play heavily into your exotic, which is just going to make your super do a lot more damage, make you more survivable with that overshield and that burst of healing. And speaking of survivability, you're also going to be getting permanent 60% damage reduction alongside healing all the time with recuperation. You're going to have infinite grenades with the 100 discipline, demolitionist, and the fragment threat of generation, alongside being able to also use ensnaring slam to suspend some enemies with things like threat of mind and utility kickstart. And if that wasn't enough, playing into all your strand mods on your artifact also just means your tangles are going to be a lot more effective, and you're going to be granted unraveling rounds for your strand primary. And like I do at the end of all these videos, this is the transmog I am running on my character. I tried to go for the most creepiest slash butterfly look, since the whole point of the build is just flying around and trying to just grapple melee everything. I think I did a pretty good job. It looks very creepy, and I really enjoy it, especially that animated rib section that I have moving right there. But all right, I think that is going to do it all for me. If y'all would like to try this build out, I will have a dim link to it in the description below. And as always, if y'all enjoyed and learned anything new, consider subscribing, dropping a like, and turn those notifications on. Also, if you'd like to join my Discord or follow me on any of my socials, all that will be linked in the description as well. But just know watching this video is way more than enough, and that every single bit of support from you all is truly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching this one, and have a great day. Peace.